about Bigfoot.
The next one.
Let's talk about Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, Sasquatch out in the woods.
Alright, let's hear it, Daniel.
304.
Oh, nope, not ready.
No, Mike should continue his stories.
I don't want to continue.
Why not?
Daniel can tell his story.
304. 940.
We probably shouldn't display this phone number live on
Yeah, we probably
on Facebook here. So
At the tone. Beep.
According to Catholic legend, the first sighting of the Loch Ness Monster actually happened around
There you go, look,
565 AD. In the legend, Saint
Text me right
Columba
now. Wait, should I
dressed
call
the beast,
Charlie Hill
which
now?
was attacking a man in the river Ness,
I'm waiting on the pop.
the river that flows from the northern part of Loch. Saint Columba said,
I'm waiting
to
on
the
the
Loch Ness
pop.
Monster, you will go no further and won't touch the
There we
man.
go.
Go back.
why'd you say it like that, Mike?
I love it.
I got a good voice.
I'll help you.
And according to legend, it fled.
I will.
Okay, here's the Bigfoot and Friends voice.
That's not what I meant to do.
According to legend, according to Catholic legend, first sighting of the Loch Ness Monster actually happened in 565 AD.
We're gonna put it in morning.
In the legend, St. Columba dressed the beast, which was attacking a man in the river Ness, the river that flows in the northern part of Loch. St. Columba said to the beast, "You will go no further.
You know what? You should put this in the
And won't
photo.
touch that man."
This should be the photo.
It's
right
so
here.
funny they said don't touch that man, but in Catholicism they actually like touching boys.
Don't get me started on Catholicism.
I was Catholic for like 20 years.
I'm about to get freaking Catholic.
We're going to bed.
You have surprised the shit out of me.
Catholicism? I get
Where have
heated.
you been?
Well, I don't know if that's where we should go with the Facebook
My
Live or
blood
not,
boils
but
when it comes to
back to
that.
Bigfoot.
yeah,
My
let's.
blood will boil when it comes to Catholicism.
So let's go back to Bigfoot.
Back to Bigfoot.
Sasquatch out in the woods.
I'm going live here. We're live on Facebook.
Here.
Facebook. Oh. In the shadow of the big red eye, you never know where you will find this
Hey,
guy.
hey,
You
hey.
might want to get that light out from behind
He's
you.
his biggest fan. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the man. Old Black Betty,
Oh, that'll work. That
Bambaland.
will work.
Old Black Betty, Mike.
Family. Yep. We have 22 people watching us right now.
Daniel, we need a Bigfoot story.
Me too.
Okay.
So let's all talk about something.
All right, I profess my love to my family. If you'll marry me, we'll go to the chapel right now and we'll get married.
Where's the chapel?
Old man sitting in the chair.
I don't know.
I think they probably should have one here. They have everything else
This
here.
is how.
Lauren, Bobby, Kylie, Grace.
Okay, that'll work. That'll work. Thank you.
Do you want to talk?
I will.
No.
Can't compete with that.
Hey, everybody go to the
We
Indiana
were saying,
Bigfoot
like,
conference.
maybe
Stuff happens around
sometime.
Yeah, Charlie Raymond.
Come and see
Mark
us.
DeWerf.
We would love to go camping.
Amy Boo.
Is it lightning or
It is.
That's definitely lightning, and it's getting very much closer to us quickly.
So I saved the girl's life
I
today.
could take you and probably get you to where you can actually get
I did.
Tell me the story, Mike.
I saved the girl's life. They came to me and asked me if I could come and help a girl, and I was like, okay. She was having a heat-related illness.
Ask the bald guy if he's English or Spanish.
Both.
I swear to God, that's what somebody said.
I'm actually Mandarin North Korean. No, I'm actually South Korean and American. I'm
She was
American South Korean.
acting so funny. It was nice to meet you guys. Nice to meet you.
Bye. Take care. Oh, bye, guys.
Hey,
Nice to meet you. Take care. See you.
Collie, come here.
Bye.
Collie, come here. Hurry. Hand hug.
that hand.
Thank you.
You ever done a hand hug? And hug.
We got 45 people watching us
Other hand.
Do we?
Other hand.
Already?
right now.
No.
What the?
No.
What
just
are you
hold-
doing?
Okay.
What is happening?
Like this.
All right.
I'm
This.
just.
Put your fingers together. All right, now.
Put your thumb there.
It's a hand hug.
And he puts his thumb there.
Wow.
Oh, like that?
It's a hand
Now you
hug.
have to marry him.
Some kind of Star Trek thing.
Got your ring.
Daniel,
Anyways,
a good Bigfoot story to finish up our broadcast.
Well, if he'd stop playing around, I don't know.
all right, yeah,
We're
let's.
playing footsie with our hands.
Yeah, Daniel, tell us your Bigfoot story.
Well, what it is, about 3 years ago, I've been going to these camping areas after the holidays when the campers move out. Because I know from experience that these Bigfoot, if they're around them camps, they'll move into them camps to check out for anything that they can get, you know, food that's stowed out or anything. And I was over on Little River, which is down the Greenbrier. And I started up Little River and I was checking each campsite, the one on the right side and one on the left. It took me a couple hours to do this.
How much sour
But with about an hour and a half into it, I was up there to the campsite on the right, and I pulled in that campsite, and I walked down where the fire pit's at, and right there was probably a 10, 15-inch track that had a baby track in it. So I poured plaster Paris into it.
Y'all will have a good conference this year and do it next year.
And
Yeah, I will.
yeah,
I poured that into it.
good show. I do.
And while I was there-
the voice for a cartoon character this year, so
This track was so fresh.
I don't charge.
Can you pause it?
No.
Okay. This track was so
You guys
fresh.
leaving?
Bye, Daniel.
See ya.
You guys leaving?
Yeah, she's taking me home.
Okay.
Love you.
See y'all. Y'all take care.
It's yours.
Thank you.
We'll be cutting her out of here too. But
Anyways, keep going.
anyway, I got to thinking, well, I should give a whoop or something because them tracks look awful fresh.
Right.
I give a whoop, and right behind me across the road, just sound like maybe 20 yards, maybe in the woods, come a whoop. And at the same time, off to my right, behind some pines that was underneath the bigger trees, come a whoop. At the same time, probably 60 yards to my right, but ahead of me toward the creek, come a whoop. And at the same time, to my left, right out of sight, down over the bank, come a whoop. Now I got kind of spooked at that time because they were there. They were right there.
Right.
So I got in the car, sat down in the car, and kind of locked the doors and sat there, wanting that plaster Paris that I just poured in that track to set up. Once it's set up, I got out there and I didn't hear nothing, no whoops or nothing. Didn't hear no brush cracking or anything, and I thought to myself, well, we'll get this track. And I pulled that track up, and when I pulled that track up, I got brave, a little brave, and I decided to walk down a trail there, right out of the little young pines. I knew it broke open to where I could see probably 80 or 100 yards, left and right and straight ahead. But there's another little grove of young pines coming down in there about that distance away. As soon as I stepped out, evidently one was standing over there watching me, and he started growling. And he growled way plenty loud enough for me to hear. So that's about the most spooked I've ever got by these things. And I turned around, hightailed her to the car. Immediately I started her up and backed up and drove out of there.
Yeah.
And then I told Les Adele about it, and the next day, me and Les pulled in that same spot And once we pulled into that spot, we was sitting there, and I got these bionic ears, and I give Les one and myself, and I was tinkering with mine, and he was listening, and down across the creek, which is Little River, it's down the West Fork of the Greenbrier, up a holler. I knew there's a holler straight down there, up, you couldn't see it from where it was at, but I knew it was there. And he could hear them responding. We done a little whoop, and we could hear them responding up there. I was still tinkering with my headphones and stuff, and he was listening to it. And he says, I hear them. He said, I can hear them. They're over there. He pointed over there. And he was telling about that today at the Bigfoot Festival down here in, what would this be called? Flatwoods?
Sutton.
Well, Sutton.
Sutton Flatwoods.
But yeah, Sutton Flatwoods, whatever, next to the airport. But I think it was pretty cool, but it was the most I got spooked by these things was that day. Before I had him over there, because I was by myself. And that stuff usually happens when you're by yourself,
Sure.
But it's best to take a friend with you all the time. Somebody else. They can not only back up your story, but it's nice to have two people in case something happens. You never know. And it's all in timing. Being at the right place at the right time. And when I pulled into that camping area, which that day I probably went through 15 or 20 camp areas looking for a sign or anything until I got to that one. When I got to that one, well, that ended my day right there, because I pulled out of there and got down the road and went home, But I think it's pretty neat. I really do,
That's so cool. Thank you for sharing your experience.
You're quite welcome.
Anything else you want to tell? We got 6 people watching and a bunch of people
really?
very interested in your story.
Well, this all happened in Randolph County, close to Elkins, West Virginia. I live about 22 miles from McDonald's in Elkins. Straight to my driveway is about 22 miles. But I was down the West Fork of the Greenbrier. Now, the West Fork of the Greenbrier is toward Durbin, West Virginia, but you go down there and there's Little River comes off of Middle Mountain to the left and flows down in the West Fork. And there's good camping areas up in there. And that's where I was at that time. But I get all kinds of Bigfoot vocals right at my cabin. They've even come to the cabin and knocked on the cabin walls and turned in my doorknobs.
Yeah.
So, I'm in a good spot. And it's remote enough to where they feel comfortable. And they come by just about every year, and I'll either find a track out in the driveway, or I can put stuff out there to gift them and they'll take it, or I can hear them. One time, just like it's happening right now, we're getting a thunder and lightning storm.
Yep.
Well, Bigfoot is something like they react like a spring gobbler does. Now, if there's a big clap of thunder all of a sudden, and lightning or something, or just big clap of thunder, the turkeys will start gobbling. Well, the Bigfoot will do the same thing. I was out in the driveway, and just right out of the blue, there's a big clap of thunder, and just right up the holler, it wasn't up past my spring box. It probably wasn't 150 yards. A big old male opened up. Whoa! Right when that clash of thunder hit.
Yeah.
Kaboom! And that was it. He quit. But it startled him enough that he let me know he was there. But I think it's pretty cool, these things. I've seen them before. I've seen 5 since 2014. I've actually seen 6 of them. One was after dark. And every one of them I've ever seen they do the ones I seen. They wasn't aggressive. They didn't chase me or anything else. They run off real fast or drop to their all fours and run off real fast or walked off slow. So that's why I'm not afraid to go out, even by myself. So I actually think they won't hurt you, but excuse me, I've heard tales where they will, in some parts of the country, that they are aggressive, but they are different tribes of them, I believe. And, some of them have attitudes and some don't.
Where do you live again?
I live in the Monongahela National Forest,
What state?
Glady, West Virginia.
Someone just asked that.
And that's 20 miles or 22 miles to my driveway from the intersection of Elkins, West Virginia. Elkins, West Virginia is where they have the Mountain State Forest Festival. And it's well known here in the East. So, and I used to live at Elkins, and even the apartment building that I lived in, there was a blister swamp nearby. These things would come and hunt on an average of once a month all summer long. You could hear them out in that bottom whooping and making noises. And then one night there at about 10:30, my neighbor down the hallway from me looked out his window, and there was two standing right in the yard at the apartment house. And one whooped out in the swamp. The one right there, the biggest one, he whooped. The one behind him started growling, and they run and hit the brush and the swamp, and away they went. They were in there hunting deer is what they were doing. I went back in there and investigated, and there's sign all over. There's places where they crawl under these big ferns, and they got a hole in one end and a trail where they can reach out and grab these deer's legs as they go by. And you can bend down, and the stench coming from those places stinks so bad that you can't stand it. That's where they've been laying in there, because it's kind of moist in there. I mean, that alone. So I put a trail cam down there, and I on that trail cam, I got all kinds of animals and birds and everything else. But one day, it was a kind of foggy day, out about 60, 70 yards, the way my trail cam was pointing, I don't know what triggered it right there closely, but when it went off, out there stood one, probably 7, 8 feet tall, right in the fog, but he was looking to the left. He wasn't looking toward the camera.
Yeah.
And that's the time my computer crashed, probably a month or two after that, and I lost even my photographs, and I lost, my contacts and everything else. That's just like Mike holding the phone right now, filming me. I lost his contact, and we tried there this evening to get it back, but we ain't got it yet. But I don't know what the deal is with that, but it's pretty fascinating. Yeah, I love to take people out. I've taken people out from Oregon and Washington State come in, and they said, we're right out there with the Bigfoot are at. We've never heard a wood knock. We've never heard a whoop. We've never heard a male holler or a female holler. We've never had rocks thrown at us. And we're out there in Washington, Oregon, right above Seattle, Washington. The one guy lived, and he says, we turkey hunt all the time and deer hunt and stuff, but we've never seen one or heard one. Well, when I got talked into taking them up where I go, in one night, all of that happened. In one night. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bigfoot even snuck around and pelted us with rocks. So, it was pretty cool. But I got so many Bigfoot stories, I could sit here all night long.
Keep
telling
going.
these stories.
Hey,
But
we have a
what's that?
crap ton of listeners that are listening to you right now live.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know where to even start. About the one where I was young, got me started on this. What got me started on it, back when I was 12 years old, Dad had these lights strung out to the wood pile. And he told 3 of us to go out there and get an armload of wood. Mom's going to start breakfast, 3, 4 in the morning. There's 14 of us in the family. 7 boys, 7 girls. And we went out there to get this wood, and our little dog Whiskers was with us, a little rabbit beetle. And we went out there, and we no more got out there at that light. You can only see so far. Well, the air was coming down the holler and coming across that wood yard. And we started smelling a stench, a real bad stench. Well, my brother, Ronald, he said, throw the wood down. He said, let's run because that must be a bear that we smell. Well, about that time, we heard this wheezing like sound, like lungs being filled with air and back. It was getting that close. We could hear it breathing. And we looked down, and that dog was already going to the house. He growled. His hair was sticking up on his back, and we looked down. But he whirled around and run to the house first. My brother and sister run to the house. I hesitated, but then I dropped my wood, and I run probably 20 feet, 30 feet. I turned around, and I thought to myself, I want to see this bear. It stepped under the pole light, and this thing was at least 12 feet tall. It was the biggest bear I ever seen, but it wasn't a bear. It was a big male Bigfoot standing there, weaving a little bit and just checking me out.
Yep.
And
It's the wind. A New Hope. It's definitely the wind that's coming through here.
yeah, we're getting wind now.
Yeah, it's about to rain, I think.
Yeah. But anyway, when Mom had Dad to go out there and check, he didn't see nothing once we got to the house. But the next morning we went out there, and he asked me where this bear was at. And I told him where it was standing, but he said, where to go? I said, it went across the road there, and it was a dirt road. It had been raining the day before. And we walked over there, and there was about probably 16-inch at least, maybe better, footprint, a human footprint sunk down in the mud about 2 inches. And Dad looked at it and he said, yep, just as I thought, it's a bear. When we got home, or walked back to the house, that was Saturday morning, we sat down on the floor, laying on the floor there watching cartoons. Mom asked Dad, if he seen anything out there, if we showed him anything, or, where's them bear at? She thought it was a bear. He leaned over and he said, Ann, it wasn't a bear. He said it had a footprint like a human. And he said he held his fingers out and he said it's huge, at least that long,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget that one. That was the first thing, and that's the one that really got me started. I had to keep all of that information under my hat. He told Mom, Mom thought it was a bear, and he said, no, Ann, it was not a bear. He said it had human footprints like ours. So, but he told us it was a bear track for us kids, so we wouldn't let it worry us, And ever since then, the Bigfoot, what they'll do, once they establish a route on top of a ridge, or up a holler, or down a ravine, generally, year after year, they travel the same route. They do that. And it's been seen, not the same Bigfoot, but Bigfoot has been seen down there at Norton, right there, several different times. And through the years.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, it's starting to rain.
Yeah, we're going to have to cut her.
So this is going to be it. Your name, sir?
Daniel Smith. They call me Daniel Boone.
Daniel Boone.
Yep.
From Glades,
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Thank you for your amazing.
If they go to the Bigfoot database, all they got to do is look up tracks found near Spring at Glady, and they'll see me on the Bigfoot BFRO database. That's where they'll find me.
We got you.
Okay.
All right, my friend. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Famelant. It is In the Shadow of Bigger Night. Does that look okay?
Oh, that looks fine to me.
Wonderful. Have a wonderful night, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk.
Oh, we're doing
Yeah, we're gonna go inside very soon.
Yeah, it's starting to get windy.
Yeah, it is.
How many we get?
I don't know how to turn this off though.